Welcome back to another episode of Akiba's trip, Undead and Undressed. Last time, well, Soga came in and kidnapped Kati using some weird brainwashing method. And now, instead of going to help her, we're gonna just read Twitter. Sorry, I have to use the in-game canon. It's Pitter thread about how the Akiba freedom fighters, there's something wrong with them because their maid's missing. And I don't know how they figure that out in like the 3 seconds it's been since Kati got taken, but I guess there's like a time lapse in which I was mourning and crying and all sorts of other things. But instead of doing anything else, we're gonna finally beat up this last group of delinquents so we can finally turn in that quest. And of course, I just want to get this over with, so we're just gonna go ahead and use the unison strip. Why not? It's here, it's useful. So we're just gonna go ahead and just take them out as fast as possible. And of course, that guy's done, so let's try to get these other guys out of here. Luckily, it doesn't look like most of them, I don't think any of them have headgear actually. Though, of course, I'm afraid of their wooden swords, so I'm trying to go in for low attacks early, so they can't hit me as well. And luckily, we are getting damage buffs, and there is another guy who we don't have to fight coming into the fight, as per usual, so let's just focus on the important people, though, of course, collateral damage and all. It seems I have not defeated all the guys yet. This is one guy. Of course, I have like 3 other enemies around me who are not involved, but luckily, I was able to focus this guy down fast enough that it didn't matter. So after that, I really did not want to deal with any of these other enemies, nor do I ever, because who knows how long that would take before it would actually end. So of course, I'm going to make my retreat back this way. And I'm going to go over to the side streets so I can finally go back to the main street area so I can turn this quest in. So that's going to be pretty much it for that. Of course, we got to do the little run all the way down the street to finally reach him. But yes, that's the actually the last time we'll ever do this side quest. Actually, it's almost the last side quest in general. We're actually reaching that point, so we're getting very close to the end, as you can imagine. We're getting very close to the point where we actually do not have side quests anymore. And I did have explained before, and I'll explain again. There are certain side quests that are based on which route you go down. There's only like 1 or 2, but as I found out, things are a little bit more interesting this time around, and that's something I'll explain to you as it happens, because I was certainly not expecting it. So of course we're gonna go back to Mogra, and the air is thick with sorrow and desperation, because of course Kati just got stolen by the big bad for some reason. We have no idea why right now, and of course apparently it's been quite a bit since she's been taken, so now we're kind of in a bad mood. No one can get her on the phone, no one can find her or contact her, and that's probably because she's being hidden in the hideout of the big bad. So of course that's a problem. But, you know, Mogra and the freedom fighters are trying their hardest to find her, locate her, anything to that extent. But of course it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge than it has to be, because Soga has obviously thought a couple steps ahead on this one. And without our signature foreign maid, our morale is at an all-time low, and we need to go find her. And of course, you know, there's going to be some guilty consciences, some people in distress, but it's okay. We're gonna make it right, hopefully. But no matter what, you know, it's gonna be a problem. But luckily for us, this problem's gonna solve itself, but in a very strange way, and maybe not in the way we would want it to. But it's definitely gonna the resolution here is gonna be very interesting. But instead, we're gonna go on patrol to kind of try to raise our morale up, of course. Because we gotta get something done, we have to be proactive, and naturally we don't want to feel bad. But of course, Shion's gonna show up and kind of clear the bad mood a little bit. She herself is apparently also looking for Kati, because she's a friend to us, of course. She's proven that several times over. So yes, Pops wants us to go out and get things done, and of course we want to go get things done, so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go ahead and do some split patrols to look for Kati, and of course, you can imagine who we're going with. We're gonna go with Shion, and we're gonna go over to Akiba Park. Now, she says she's not going to do patrols, but she's actually coming to speak with us, so technically she is. So of course, we're definitely available to talk. We're talking. So we're gonna go see. We are aiding them in their search. We're gonna go to Akiba Park and we're gonna talk. You know, just friendly talk. And that message right there is a good one. That is the divider line, I would say. Basically, that is the line in which finally we are on Shion's route, and there's nothing that can break this. The only thing we can do is not get the good ending of her route. But luckily for us, that's not gonna happen. So there's no way to get on any other route at this point. When that message pops, that is the divider line. And of course, we're gonna do this one side mission, which is actually a side mission I've never done before because it's exclusive to this route. All we have to do is beat this guy up because he's pretending to be one of those guys offering drugs, for, you know, creating synthesters. As you can imagine, he's doing pretty much the same exact thing that everyone else is doing, or at least he's claiming he's doing that. So, of course, we're just gonna beat him up because that sucks, and we don't want him to make any more problems for us. So, naturally, since he's just one guy, we're gonna tag team him so hard into this corner, it's not even funny. Like this is an unfair fight in all respects, and we're just gonna get rid of him. That is the last side mission. Yeah, it is. That is the last side mission we will do, and it will become increasingly obvious why as things proceed. But right now, I will tell you that is the last side mission. I did claim there were some other side missions, like the second Idols side mission, which I thought would show up, but this route went in directions I was not expecting, which is why none of those things happen. But we've gone to the middle of the park, and Shion wants to ask us about our physical abnormalities. And of course, you know, we've been running around and beating people up in, you know, pretty good shape. So I have to say that we're probably, you know, doing well. Here I was just like, I guess so. I guess I'm fine. It's because, you know, no fainting, no spells, no headaches. I think we've been doing fine, but who knows? So Shion, that blood sample she took from us not too long ago, she got the results on. But before she can tell us about those results, oh yeah, Kati shows up. Now she's here, still brainwashed obviously due to her slowed speech and dimmed colored eyes and her demeanor. Naturally she's coming to get us, and of course that's probably not a good thing because, well, Soga's involved and obviously we don't want to help him. And second off, I mean, she's obviously not of the right mind, so we have to do something about it. So of course Kati's gonna want to get us. We don't really know why, we don't know what her motives are. And of course, we're going to question those right now. Now, we can only assume that when she's talking about body breaking down, she's talking about us. Which, of course, is probably not a good thing since Shion was talking about whether we were having abnormalities or not. And so, we can only assume that our state of health is probably not as good as it could be. And Soga's name got dropped there, so I'm a little skeptical. But whether or not that's actually going to be helpful or not, because that guy is not, I mean, he's got a big sword, he glows weird, and he's probably evil. And he probably talks a lot about a lot of philosophy and dumb things, and we don't want to talk to that guy. But, of course, Kati's going to take us by force, which, as you can imagine, it was kind of weird, because, of course, she's never fought. She's good at cheerleading, but not so good at, you know, hand-to-hand combat. So we have to strip her. Yes, we do. We have to strip Kati, and though we don't want to, we must. And of course, she isn't alone. She's with her army of shadow maids, is what it looks like. Now, of course, in this fight, the idea... Now, this isn't true of all fights, but as I've explained before, some fights, if you take out the main enemy, the fight will end, and sometimes it won't. But this is one that it will. So naturally, I was trying to focus down Kati instead of focusing down her cronies, so that it would be easier to end the fight prematurely. So of course, we took out her skirt pretty fast. Now I'm trying to take out the middle area. It's getting a little harder as the closer and closer we are to the other enemies. And of course, now that she only has her headgear, you can only imagine how annoying it's going to be for me to actually make any headway on that. And of course, the shadow maids are starting to actually do attacks. And luckily I was able to get a hit on her, though unfortunately I was going for the other maid because they're so close together it's hard to distinguish them. So I went ahead and I just did a parry strip. We're gonna just go ahead and cycle through, and of course I want to get back to Kati and end this as soon as possible. I do have Unison Strip. There's no point to use it. All I need is to hit Kati's headgear a couple more times, and it's pretty much a given take. Now, it is pretty much ready to be taken, but of course, I'm not in a very good spell. And I'm trying to take it, but she's going for a low ball, but of course, there we went for the parry strip, and that's it. So now that Kati's taken out, the rest of her maids are also going to stop fighting, luckily. And so that's going to make that encounter a lot shorter than it would have to be otherwise. So it was good to focus on her only. So now that we've taken her out, naturally, we would think that we had taken her out of the trance of, you know, the mind rending. But of course, we haven't really. We just kind of incapacitated her so that she won't fight anymore. But of course, now I'm going to just, you know, drop on the ground. I'm just gonna face plant right in the middle of the park. So of course, apparently, doing all that combat didn't really fare well for me because I'm not doing much more well than Kati is right now. So I can't move, and I can't really do anything because, well, it turns out my body is breaking down, and I do need to be helped. Though I don't know why Soga wants to help me. It's probably for not a good reason, naturally, because it never is. I mean, this guy is not a good guy. Let me tell you. Dark utopia and you know, master plans. This guy's, you know, textbook evil. But of course, we have to go, and Shion will go with us because she refuses to let them take me alone, because she has the idea that they're going to use me for some sort of personal gain, which is probably a pretty accurate idea. So of course, Shion's going to be insurance. That doesn't go that way explicitly. So of course, Shion's gonna shoulder me there, and of course I'm gonna have to show some concerns because, you know, there's no way the big bad's gonna let her walk out, and I don't want to see Soga, and I don't want her to see Soga because it's not gonna end well. But of course, I'm dying, so I can't really. There's no other way about it. We gotta go see this guy, to my distaste. So we're gonna just shoulder our way over there. So, interestingly enough, in every other route in this game, you never actually meet Soga face to face until the last mission, until the final boss fight. There's actually a lot of differences with this route than other routes that are actually. This is the odd route out, really. It's just more different. It's jarringly different, actually. You don't see Soga until the last mission in every other route in this game, but in this one, you actually see him now. You learn that in the Radio Kaikon building, the one they're constructing is his home base. That's something you don't learn early. You actually learn that at the very end of the game before the climax starts, but here we're actually walking in early. And of course, we're going to also learn some other things pretty early, which is that this guy, Sakaguchi, who's Shion's, like, I don't even know what he is in her company, but he's something, some sort of crony. And he's also evil, and he's also involved. And if you didn't think that he was involved when you saw his sketchy ass earlier in the game, well, now you have reason to, because here he is. Now, of course, Shion stepped down from her company because of, you know, coup d'etat and corporate politics and all sorts of fun things. And this guy's involved, naturally, because he probably, you know, was the purveyor of that. Now, Soga's here. Look at him, he's so evil. And I don't want to deal with him, but of course, they're all in bed together. So, of course, he wanted us, but Shion showed up to kind of throw things into imbalance, luckily. But of course, that's going to come with a price as it stands. So, Soga wants her because she's useful. She's a genius, she's a CEO, she's very smart. Like I said, genius. She has a lot of skills, and of course, instead of using us for his personal gain, naturally he's going to use her for his personal gain, using us as a bartering chip. Or rather, she's going to use us as a bartering chip, and that's going to be the conditions. Naturally, there is a way this is going to go, and it's going to put us in a very weird position, and not a very good position for that. So Shion wants two things, of course. She wants Kati to be released, which naturally is fine. We don't want Kati to be here anymore. And yes, the second condition is that Soga saves me from dying, which I assume he was going to do either way, but no, it has to be done in that way. And then Shion will work with them. Of course, we don't want that. And naturally, I'm going to oppose to that because, I mean, this guy's this guy's evil. Like, he's not good. But, of course, Shion's gonna take the fall for us for some reason. Not quite sure why. And she's right. We're probably gonna break down and die soon if we're not gonna get any medical attention soon. So, as it stands, we kind of have to take this one with a little bit of grace. And Sakaguchi, of course, is going to chime in because he doesn't want her to be involved because he went to all this trouble of, like, dethroning her and being, like, a little, you know, little piece of shit. Being a little snivelly little piece of crap. Like, this guy. Like, this guy, you just want to hate this guy. Look at his freaking hair. Weird one white streak of hair and his pushover attitude. Yeah, you want to give this guy, like, a beat down. But, naturally, now is not the time. So... Of course, Soga is agreeing to these terms. He's going to release Kati, but he's going to erase all the memories of the Radio Kaikan building and her involvement in these plans, which we're going to agree to. And of course, he is going to cure us, though he said he's not giving a guarantee that he's going to cure us. So, of course, he's keeping this very uncertain, but he's going to say that he's going to do it, so who knows? So at first, he's going to give us a bracelet. That's right. He's going to be kind enough to give us a bracelet. Now, of course, Soko being a Night Eater, the one draw to this is that he knows how to repress Night Eater blood. So here, he's going to give us a bracelet, or a rosary as he calls it, to suppress our Night Eater blood so that we don't, our bloods do not run together and, you know, cause each other conflict, which is what's happening. Our mix of Synthester and Night Eater blood is kind of, well, it's kind of doing bad things for us internally. And the inner conflict is kind of killing us, so naturally we need one side to be suppressed for the time, so that we can, you know, stay at a stable position at the least. And of course, you know, rosary, the whole vampire metaphor here, sucking energy, you know, yeah, they're keeping that one going. So of course, Shion's gonna be on call, and we're not gonna be very happy about it. And now we're working for the enemy. Like, as you gotta look at it, we can't go back to the Freedom Fighters because now we are tied to Soga as conspirators, so we're enemies now. But of course, I had to be reassuring and get the right dialogue options because I got to keep this train going. So of course, you know, I have physical ailments. I'm not feeling too good. And you know, Shion's trying to figure out a rational and scientific way to separate the bloods in my body so that I don't die, and so that, you know, I can be saved in the end. And you know, that'd be great. So. But it's going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of betrayal to finally get to that point, which is where this route gets actually very interesting. So, and then of course Sakaguchi's going to watch us from the shadows, all weird and stuff, but oh well. Look at that weird hairline. A little crooked little hairline. Don't worry, we'll see him again. Anyways, now after that shocking development, naturally we're going to check our email, which is actually incredibly full. And look at all these very concerned emails, actually. We're getting emails from the entire Freedom Fighters gang, wondering where we are. Naturally, because we kind of ran away, and now we're working with the enemy, and everyone's very mad or concerned or other things, but they're not happy. And Kati feels bad because she can't remember anything, so... Anyways, that is going to do it for this episode of Akiba Strip Undead and Undressed. I hope you enjoyed it. I do hope you keep watching, and I will see you next time.